Hello everyone, Kia ora and welcome to our August webinars. Today is a really exciting one as we are officially launching Logiqc AI for incident reporting. I'm very privileged to be joined by two special guests today. We've got Anna Liddy, our Director of Business Development, and Tim Grillmeyer, our Senior Product Engineer, who'll be joining me today. So welcome to you both.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Right. For those who haven't met Tim before, he brings a wealth of experience in web development to the team. Tim plays a key role in enhancing the usability, accessibility and performance of our platform. He's a core part of the development team and he ensures that every improvement aligns with the real world needs of our customers. And Anna, of course, needs no introduction. She has been my co-pilot for this webinar series for most of the year. But today, Anna will be joining us with her sales and subscription hat, and she'll be answering some of those commercial questions that everyone might have. Before we dive in, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands of which we meet today and pay my respect to elders past and present. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we jump in. This session is being recorded. It will be sent out with a post-webinar email, and it'll also be available on the Academy and on our YouTube channel. I will be monitoring the chat and the Q&A throughout the session, so please pop any questions that you might have in there. If we don't get to them today, because it's a big presentation, so if we don't get to them, we will make sure that we answer them in the post demo mail out that we send. Okay, I have a couple of questions to guide our conversation today. So let's kick it off. Tim, I'll bring you in first. AI is everywhere right now, and our team's been highly focused on using it to make incident reporting significantly easier. Could you give us a higher level overview of Logiqc AI and how it works?
Tim, you're on mute.
Classic. It wouldn't be a good webinar unless I was going to go through the whole who's on mute, who's not. It's a great question. We have put a lot of thought into AI and how to deploy it onto the Logiqc system. So what we've tried to do with Logiqc AI is take a human in the lead approach. This is very important to us. It aligns with what we believe as a company for transparency, making sure you're holding the steering wheel. We've tried to roll this out in a way which is unintrusive as well, and we can go through all of this. There is a strict opt-in policy for any AI. So I want to make that clear right from the get-go. We're not forcing this upon anyone. It's something that you can choose to use, and not just choose to enable, but also choose to use throughout the platform experience.
I was just going to say that. I was going to ask you because usually when Logiqc rolls out standard features or upgrades or anything, it kind of just is there the next day. You're saying this is not. So what would our system administrators need to do to enable this?
Yeah, definitely. This is within our general settings. So what I might do is actually just share my screen here and show you where you can go. And don't worry, we'll get into the actual feature itself. All right, so here I am on the beautiful Logiqc platform on incidents. For someone with administrative privileges, you'll need to go to admin mode, go down to your system settings. Here you'll select general, and you'll see I already have it enabled for this demonstration purpose, but we have a new checkbox here called Enable Logiqc AI. Here you can select it and then hit save. So that will enable Logiqc AI for you if you are enterprise or professional, which is probably where you're going to go next.
No, actually, I was just going to ask you. We will be diving in deeper into the data processing and all of those things next week. But just to make everyone feel really comfortable, can you give us some reassurance without going into too much detail that everyone's data is still safe?
Absolutely. Yep. So one of the things we use here during the actual AI inference, and we'll demo that in a second, is there is reasoning happening behind the scenes. This reasoning is made transparent and you can review it, but we do not store that anywhere. It's completely ephemeral. If you refresh the page, it will be lost, but that is by design. We don't want to store any of this information anywhere. The only thing it assists you in doing is actually generating content for drafting the incident form. When it comes to where the data actually is, we leverage Azure AI infrastructure, and we keep this onshore. The actual inference for any AI activities is using an LLM hosted on Australian shores. And we aren't using any of that information for training our own models or enabling any other services to train models based on your data at all. So all conversations, all data, all reasoning is ephemeral. It's not stored. We don't train off your data, and neither does anyone else.
Thanks, Tim. That's really reassuring to know that. I want to ask you about your design philosophy when it comes to incorporating AI into the platform, but I'm wondering if at the same time, while you describe what you guys used as that philosophy, if you could also demonstrate what this actually looked like and how we would be reporting an incident.
Absolutely. Like I was saying before, once you've enabled it, you go to your incidents. Here, what I've done is I've clicked on Add Incident, and you'll see here there's this little fill in this form using AI. It's currently grayed out, and that's because it's looking at your description of the incident right now. You can start adding extra fields, but this won't be enabled until you've populated something in this field. The reason for that is it needs something to work with. More on that later, but the more you give it, the more it actually has to actually populate your form. So here we have the fill in this form using AI. I've added in this short template description of the incident. A bird flew into an open window at the clinic. Here we'll prompt this. And this is the reasoning I was talking about before. It gets quite busy doing a lot of asynchronous reasoning, and all of this can be reviewed. So this goes into our design philosophy of making sure that any kind of soft decisions for why it's populating certain fields in certain ways, it will give you a breakdown of what it's attempted to do here. So this is part of our philosophy of making sure any activity is as transparent as possible. Part of this as well is making sure, again, human in the lead. You would have heard of human in the loop. That's a pretty popular philosophy when it comes to AI, but it's more taking the position of you as part of a conversation or part of a workflow, and you're almost riffing with the AI itself. We're taking that a step further and trying to put you behind the steering wheel. So one of the main ways we've done that is not just in the transparency of information in showing the reasoning, but also making sure it's clearly earmarked what has been touched by AI here. So here we've marked all of these fields. Every single one that has been touched by AI has a little mark indicating that it has been updated. This is so it gives you full awareness of what's been added, so you can draw in and give everything the attention it needs. One extra thing though, we have gated the experience. So once you've used AI, again, clicking on this button here, fill in this form using AI, you'll notice a checkbox down the bottom here. This needs to be selected before you can save as a draft or submit this particular item now. And we've added this for very good reason. Some people might consider this to be something that's in the way. However, this is generated content from AI, and this is a incident submission form. There's some serious details that need to be documented here, and we want to make sure that you have put in the appropriate effort to review it, make sure it's correct. As a lot of people here know, AI isn't perfect. It does get some things wrong, and this is why we've made everything as transparent as possible and given you every opportunity to review the information before submission.
That looks fantastic. Now, how would you get the most out of this? What are some really good habits users should adopt when they're using AI to report an incident? And what kind of details do we add? I'm sure in your testing, you've seen some really good responses and some not so good. And what is the advice that you would give everyone listening today?
Absolutely. So let me explain what the AI actually sees here. When you hit this button here, fill in this form using AI, The system behind the scenes will have a look at the description of the incident that you've provided, but it'll also look at the existing form context, and that includes potential drop-down options here. So in the incident area, we have 3 options available. In the incident category, we have quite a few more. This is not something that's the case for all client sites, and certainly not some of the ones we tested with. The AI can only make suggestions for drop-down fields that it actually has enough semantic awareness and opportunity to fill. So if you have opaque labels here, such as section or policy 38.5, think of how someone who just walked into the room would go about interpreting what that area actually is, or what that category actually is. Similar with any other drop-downs, such as your earmark for whatever the location is within your platform. Behind the scenes, the AI will read what your current dynamic list is, and it will do its best guess to infer from what you've provided here, the actual location. But if this isn't transparent, or you haven't provided enough information here, it will try to reason around that and decide not to fill in that field. I have some examples here for what that looks like from a fidelity of information point of view. So let me refresh the page here. If I enter in maybe some irrelevant information or not too much here, so I fell over, this isn't a very good description of an incident. We don't know when this happened, who I is. For example, we don't know when it took place. There's a lot of information that's actually missing from this, but the AI will do its best. So here you can see it's identified that it's a trip, stumble, fall. That's good. It has identified that. It's identified that there was an incident. So it's done its best with the information here. But when it comes to immediate action, it's identified none. For the person that it's pre-populated, it simply said, well, the user has identified that they fell over. So I will put in a placeholder for the person here as user. This is a great example of a bad incident description. Any additional information you can give it is more context for it to actually fill in your form. But more than that, populating things behind the scenes will give it more information to actually select from. So back here, if I go into severity settings, here we have where all of our SAC ratings are determined. We are rolling out a new update to Logiqc AI, which will dynamically include this. And what that means is the very nuanced requirements for your SAC ratings will be respected when we're actually making a recommendation. At the moment, it's using some off-the-shelf reasoning, which aligns with general considerations, but that will become fully dynamic to your specifications and your policies as per that setting. In addition to this, in your system settings, register settings for incident, you will know that you have menus. So here are those top level areas for incident areas, for example, and I have those 3 labels for those types of areas. I also have incident categories as well. So having strong semantic labels here, ones which are easy to interpret at face value for someone who's walked in the room, will let Logiqc AI better fill in your form for you. But just as an example, let's put in a more detailed incident description here. I'll refresh the page and we'll give it a go. So this is describing a warehouse file. The location deliberately doesn't match up with what we have here. And I'm mentioning that this was 9:30 a.m. 2 days ago, and that the police were contacted and provided an actual number. So if I click fill in the form with AI, we can see the information here is a bit more nuanced. It's identified that there were company assets that were involved. The date and time of the incident has been filled in appropriately. This can get a little bit sketchy. If you're more specific with what you provide here, it has better opportunities to answer. If you're saying, oh, it happened 1 fortnight and a day ago, it gets a bit sketchy. So being as specific as you can, that's always good. Again, the location here was not from one of the available options. So here you can see it's gone, well, that's not available, but I do have location information. I'll add that under additional information. You can see here that the additional comments have added in the police report number as well. Of course, this is categorized as SAC2 as per those breakdowns, and we have all of these earmarked. The actual people here, some fans of these franchises will recognize these fictional people, but you'll see here it's pre-populated with just a short number that we have from the actual list here. You can see that the injuries, at least from a top level, have been categorized appropriately. We are still expanding the functionality, and you'll see that as time goes on, but this is an evolving process. So moving forward, when the details of the injury are actually provided, we'll be populating as much detail as we can here using the AI as well. Not to worry, we've added some additional validation policies here as well, so that anything added by the AI will be earmarked for you to actually review. If, for example, we won't mention Frodo, he wasn't strictly injured, we can just remove him. Again, this is here to assist you filling in the incident form. It's not meant to replace that activity, just help you submit information more accurately and quickly.
And that's really great. And thank you for demonstrating that so thoroughly. My next couple of questions are for Anna. So we're going to shift gears onto how that works for our customers and their accounts. Anna,
oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, no, that's all good. With many AI applications out there, users often get hit with hidden fees if they've only given it a couple of tries or they've only done a few prompts or attempts. How does pricing and usage work for our Logiqc customers?
Thanks, Elizabeth. And I know that that would be on the top of everyone's mind, given that we're all having to pay for these things. They started off free and they're just continuing to increase in price. So what I've got here is a table that'll provide you with a breakdown of the AI credits. And so there are two plans. Some people will be on a legacy plan, so they may need to upgrade. If they're interested in the AI feature, they will need to upgrade to one of the modern plans. What we're referring to is the Pro plan or the Enterprise plan. And we've built into those plans a monthly AI credit allocation. So for the Pro plan, there is a 40,000 credits per month. And for the Enterprise plan, there are 80,000 credits per month. And we've done a bit of an estimate based on some of the work that Tim has just shown you about how much credits are used when you do something like completing an incident form. And it's roughly 250 credits per AI action. And so on that basis, if you're on the Pro plan and you have 40,000 credits, we've estimated that it's around, you would be able to complete around 160 forms per month. If you're on the Enterprise plan, that would double up to 320 per month. That's the number of AI credits in each of the plans, and it's sort of a rough estimate of usage.
Anna, that's really reassuring to know that it's bundled into a plan. To put those credit allowances, into practical terms, you've let us know that you would be able to do approximately 160 on a Pro plan and 320 on an Enterprise plan, which is great, and it gives our users a really good understanding of how that's going to work. Now, Tim, I might jump back to you for a moment. From a system perspective, how can a system administrator monitor what their credit usage is?
Sure. Let me show you. So we'll jump back into the incident form here. Now, anyone with admin access on a system that has AI enabled, what you can do is jump in and go to AI usage, which is now a new page that you'll see within the administration area. Here you'll get a fantastic summary showing you what your credit situation currently is. So this scenario here that we're looking at is a customer site that would be on a Pro plan. So it's receiving the 40,000 credits per month as the complimentary rollover. But in addition to this, we also have paid credits. this scenario of this particular site is one where they have used all of their complimentary credits and they've begun using their paid credits. Now, the complimentary credits at the start of every month, depending on what plan you're on, you will have that topped back up. So if you're on Pro, you'll get the 40,000. If you're on Enterprise, you'll get 80,000. This is to ensure that even if you don't have paid credits available and you're on one of these plans, you still have access to AI features. Now, paid credits, what are these and where do they come from? You can see there's a link here for buying more credits. All this will do is take you to the Logiqc store. Here, it's automatically navigated us to the service tab and it's filtered for Logiqc AI. So here I have some options here. This is the 2 packets that we have at the moment. So you can get 10,000 additional credits or 25,000. This is actually quite a few. As Anna told you, it takes about 250 credits per actual AI submission. What I might do here is show you what this looks like in practice. So here we can see the current paid credit usage is 1,678. Let's go back to incidents and do another generation here. This time we'll be talking about the bird that flew into the clinic. We'll let AI do its thing. And it's finished. So that would be happening there across all of the users for your site. And then behind the scenes, the AI usage will be ticking up. So you can see that's gone up by a few hundred here. And this is why we give you allowances that are in the tens of thousands. Now let's just say you are approaching your overall limit. So when I say overall limit, you can see total credits used here is 41,000 out of 72,000. So the 72, where is that coming from? That's because this particular account has 32,000 paid credits this month available. They've used 1,900 of it, and they've used 40,000 and 40,000 complimentary. So your total available credits is based on total complimentary and paid, whatever that might be. When you reach 80% here, this bar will go yellow and you'll start seeing little alert bars throughout the experience, prompting you that, hey, your credit amount is running low. You might want to top up and get more paid credits. If the person viewing that message has the ability to buy credits from the store, you will have a convenient link to do so. Unfortunately, if you've exhausted all of your available credits, whether that's just complimentary or complimentary and paid, you'll receive a little notification saying, nope, you can't use Logiqc AI at the moment. We aren't too stingy about it. If you're making one request that is going over that limit, that's okay. We'll complete that last request for you, but it will go into whatever overflow ends up in the next month. If you like, Elizabeth, I can demo actually purchasing some of these credits from the store.
Yeah, sure, Tim. That would be great.
Great. Okay. Let me just refresh this to make sure it's the latest numbers. Perfect. So here's what we currently have out of 32,000. Let's just say we're running hot. We know from last month, our users are loving AI and there's more features that have rolled out which are using these credits. So we got to go and buy some more. So here, all I'll do is just go through the checkout process. I'll add this to the cart, place the order. Now, those of you who have made amendments to your Logiqc instance with user licenses, you'll know that these changes happen immediately. Getting a little nervous here with how long this is hanging. Excellent. It was just thinking about it. That's good. So now if we go back to AI usage, we can see we have 10,000 additional items here. It's almost gone back down below halfway. So that's been applied immediately. You will have an invoice that's been generated for this order, and payment for that will need to be sorted. But the way this works is it is immediately made available for you to use as paid credits, similar to the way changes for user licenses and audit seats show up in your platform immediately.
Tim, I'll just add for everybody though, is that if you have a look at the number of incidences that you're reporting, and the AI credits at the moment are applied to the incident register, if you have a look at the number that you're reporting per month, you'll start to see just, how much bandwidth there is with 40,000. So if in the last month you've only reported 10 incidences, you're just not going to be anywhere near the top cap of the AI credits. But we do intend to add this feature to the other registers, the other reporting registers. But even so, we estimate that there's quite a generous allowance of AI that should really extend to all of the registers. The reporting registers are really important because that's what keeps the whole system moving in terms of generating ideas for how to improve. So we certainly don't want to be putting a gate on that experience. So have a look at what you have used in how many number of incidences, and if you want to have a look at across your other registers in the last month or how it's trended across the last 12 months, you'll start to see that, there's plenty of bandwidth with 40,000 AI credits.
Right. Thanks for that recap, Anna. I'm going to ask you to just take us through another aspect that you spoke about. I know it was part of the graph that you showed us, but this question is for Anna. From a subscription perspective, users need to be on certain plans. Can you just reiterate that again, please, Anna, before we sign off for the day?
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah. So I'll just share the screen again. So on your subscription, and it'll be on your invoice, whether you're on a pro plan or an enterprise plan. If it's not mentioning that, then you're on what's called a legacy plan. So there will be a lift between the legacy and the pro, or the legacy and the enterprise. The enterprise is really for organizations that want to turn on the whole of the integration suite. So this one here is probably where most organizations, if they're moving from legacy, they'll just move up to the pro plan. And so there will be a difference in the price of what you pay currently for what we call the core subscription. It's the core functionality of the system. And so if you reach out to me, I'll provide you with a quote, which will provide you with what is the difference between your legacy core and the pro plan, the core of the pro plan. And again, we just, our philosophy has always been never to push. And so we're not sort of saying that organizations have to be on this. If they want to be on the pro plan and get access to the AI credits, it'll be a choice that you make.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks for that reminder. We don't have any questions, which I'm sure you will bring your questions to our next webinar. I just want to reiterate what Anna said. Remember, you can get into Logic through any of the doors. If you have a technical query, contact us at support@logic.com.au. You can reach out to Anna directly to upgrade or talk about your plan if you feel that you need to. Customer success at logic.com.au can support you in regards to that as well. So just remember, we will all point you towards Anna. So it doesn't matter through which door you come. Tim, Anna, thank you so much for being with us today and marking this wonderful occasion, this wonderful day of releasing such an amazing product to our customers. Please come and join us next week. Come and hear about how we protect you, your data. And Tim's put a lot of time and effort, and the team has put a lot of time and effort into that. Thank you for all the clappy hands. I'm sure Anna and Tim are appreciating that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
The recording will be online soon, and you'll get your mail out as well. So thanks for coming, and thank you both for joining me today. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
See you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye now.